Okay, so good morning, everybody. Welcome to CADENA Connections Quarantemes. Today we have with us Director of Humanitarian Productions, Juan Saenz. Thank you for being with us today. Welcome. And we also have Victoria Santamarina, Director of our CADENA International Office here in South Florida. And of course, myself, Angie Wagner, Director of Strategic Alliances for CADENA International. Thank you for joining us today. Juan is also a board member of CADENA. We thank you for joining us. And I just wanted to share with our audience, today we're going to be discussing how we can bring light to be of service while celebrating. This will be our quarantine theme of the day. We will have an ongoing discussion between the three of us. We will be discussing many different ways that you can be of service during the time of celebration. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to share them with us in the comment box on our IGTV posts, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've been in humanitarian work for over 30 years, and you've also given support to over 50 countries. That's amazing. I think that's awesome, and I applaud you for all your work. Can you tell us how you got started?
Yes, thank you for inviting me. And for those of us who like this new way of interacting, the first thing which is through computers and screens. And if for those of you watching, I would like to tell you that I hope by now you have found a way to be comfortable in yourself in this new normal, and that you find right now a space for you to be quiet, to be with yourself, and just focus on what's going to happen now. So I hope you're well and that your family is well. How did I start? I started because there was an itch within me of transforming my surroundings and myself. At the time I didn't know it, but I was on a mission. And I started with the Red Cross when I was 17 years old. And I started as a volunteer, and then I spent many years in ambulance services, and then I went to Africa, and then I went to Asia. And suddenly I found myself managing large-scale disasters, famine and drought, refugee operations. And then for some reason, I ended up in Geneva in headquarters of a large international organization, moving emails and faxes at the time, and telex. If you don't know what it is, go and find out. It's a really interesting piece of history. And today I'm based in Mexico City, and my role is to engage in dialogue with people who are interested in becoming better at serving humanity. So right now I'm talking to you from home, your home in Mexico City. So my Spanglish is a bit rusty, so please bear with me. I would like to thank you for paying attention to this chat, and just relax and see what comes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So as far as how we can be of service while celebrating, what does that mean?
Well, I was reading a very interesting article by Zachary Stein, who is a philosopher based in the US. And Zachary was alerting us that we are watching history unfold right in front of our eyes, and that it's very difficult to know what to say and how to be when you're watching history unfold right in front of your eyes. He also alerted us to the fact that one world has gone and a new one is yet to come. And that got me thinking, okay, what is the new world going to be like? And I told to myself, okay, there are several options here. Do I wait for this new world to happen to me? Or do I become an active participant in the crafting of this new world? So I chose for the latter. I think that in my case, and this is my invitation to you today, you have a unique opportunity right now to become an active participant in the crafting of a new reality. And right now, this space of quarantine, I am approaching it as a pregnancy. A pregnancy where we are allowed to stop, to take some time. And I know my children are here with me as well. I know it's not complete peace and quiet as many people think it is. Of course, there's so much more to do. And to keep your kids entertained and to keep them healthy and happy and safe and in peace with themselves and to keep a new reality. It is not easy. But what is true is that we have given an opportunity to stop many other things that we thought were important, and we're suddenly realizing they're not as important as we thought they were. For example, our cars. Suddenly, they became not as important as they used to be. Coffee, of course, continues to be very important for people like me who are heavy drinkers of coffee. So this is an opportunity for you to help craft a new reality. In that sense, Angie, in that sense, Victoria, what I've been thinking is, how do I craft a new reality on 3 levels? The first level is within myself. The second level is in my household or immediate community, whatever that means to you. And the third level is as a participant of this new world order. And because I'm a humanitarian, and I have been for the last 30 years, then I said, okay, what time are we on right now? This is Pesach, for those of you who observe the Jewish tradition. This is a time for celebrating liberation. And if you are from another tradition, like for example, if you're a Muslim, you are in fasting. You're at a time where you go inside, you save your energy, you take time, you are grateful. If you are in the Christian tradition, then this is time for celebration, for resurrection. So I try to combine those 3 and try to see how they manifest themselves as humanitarians. And I came with this idea. Why don't we revisit what we understand as service and how can we link it to celebration? Let me tell you a little bit more about this. Normally, we understand service as a way of giving something of ourselves to others, either time or information or goods. And we do it from a space of wanting to be good, do well, provide something to others. That is in theory, but in practice, in reality, many, many times, we cannot distinguish between our need to be of service and our need to serve ourselves. So sometimes we disguise service as a very deeply rooted need to serve ourselves because we want to feel good, or because we want recognition, or because we want to be called heroes, or because we want to take care of some wounds that we have inside ourselves, or because we see pain and we want to cure that pain of others because we cannot stand the pain we are watching. So my proposal is that use this time to distinguish between the service that is putting you as a service provider at the center of the equation with the service that makes you invisible, that dilutes you as a service provider, and which puts the person that is the object of that service at the center. i.e., you do a service which is anonymous, a service which is quiet, a service which is profoundly healing, where doesn't necessarily meet your needs, but meets the needs of that individual or collective that is going to be part of this service. And why I would like to link service with celebration, it is because in my understanding of celebration and linking it to Pesach, the true meaning of liberation comes when you are able to provide this selfish service, truly selfish, and you become an integral part of the greater, whatever that means to you, the greater being, the greater universe, the greater essence of humanity. And at that moment, a magical thing happens. There's a celebration that comes within you. There's a profound recognition of your humanity. Nobody needs to tell you you're good. Nobody needs to tell you you are a hero. Nobody needs to tell you thank you. There's something very deep within you that emerges. And the quality of your service is transmuted, is transformed. And the people that are in the presence of that service receive 1,000-fold of what you think you can be. That is the moment of magic where service and celebration become one, where all traditions merge, and where you transcend your individual being and your humanity, and you become something a little bit closer to the divine than you were before. So I don't know if that makes sense, Angie and Vic, but that's just a little bit of thinking I wanted to share to start this off.
I think on a personal level, I actually love that message. I think more times than not, unfortunately, we do see people that want to do good so they feel good about themselves. I had a very interesting encounter, and Victoria, I don't know if I shared this with you, but Erica knows. CADENA was on a mission in the Bahamas, and the person that was doing the photography for this mission was also doing a documentary on humanitarian aid. And he interviewed me, and his question, the main question was, why do you do what you do? And my natural response was to help those in need. And he said, but what does that do for you, and how does it make you feel? What need in yourself are you feeding? Like, is that what you're doing? And I said, no. I said, what I do, and this is maybe something because my mother instilled in me since I was little, and it's just something that I grew up doing. I mean, I grew up without the internet and without social media and without Instagram and Facebook. And when we did obras beneficiosas, when we did any humanitarian aid, whether it was locally or at a school or whether it was through the city, we never really did a whole, hooray, look at what we did. It was mostly, we spent time with the communities in need. We helped any way we can. And we always gave support because they needed the support, and it was about them. And so when he interviewed me, he didn't understand what I was saying, because almost everybody that had answered this question for him, it was mostly, well, because it makes me feel good that I'm helping somebody. And he was honest. He said that was mostly the response that I would get from people. It makes me feel good to know that I could help other people. And so I think it would be beautiful if people could make that connection into or switch their perspective or their objective and make it about the people that they're helping, because I think the world would be a better place if we actually did that, and it wasn't about us and about feeding our needs and our ego and showing what we can do. Now, on the flip side, working for a nonprofit organization that delivers humanitarian aid, I want to say fortunately and unfortunately, I love doing what I do. I started as a volunteer. I'm here because I love helping people, much like the rest of the people that I work with. It's in their heart, and it's what they love doing. But I think if everybody in the world could just make that switch, it would just be, the world would be a better place. And it's the way I think it should be. Now, when we have to do things like post on social media and we have to share what we're doing, it kind of kills that a little bit. But I also think it's necessary, because the people that support us, they want to know where their money went. They want to see what's being done. They want to make sure that what we projected, took place. And so it's kind of like you get caught between a rock and a hard place, because the organization, of course, the founder, who's Benny Laniado, I mean, that's what's in his blood and in his heart. He wants to help people the way he can. And I do feel that he has that feeling that you're explaining today. But then we also have that other side that people want to see what you're doing and to get that support. So how would we maybe, and maybe it's a question I'm posing, I'm not sure. How do you work around that? Because again, I say, you know, I'm fortunate that I'm a part of something that's so beautiful, but then it's unfortunate that to get the support that we need to survive as a nonprofit organization that delivers aid, we need to do that. We need to do the hurrah. We need to take the picture, and we need to post a video so that people can see what we're doing, not to make us feel good about ourselves, but to survive as an organization and to get people's support.
Yeah, if I understand your question is how do we as an organization dedicated professionally to the aid of people suffering, how do we implement these principles?
Yes.
I think that there are three levels, as I said. First, individually. First, you need to look at yourself as a professional of this craft and say, okay, what is my role? And what has been my role? And what do I want to be my role in this new world we're crafting together? So this is an opportunity, okay? So what part of me do I want to keep? And what part of me do I want to distill? I want to shift. I want to, how do you call it, cernidor? You sift. When you're putting the flour for the cake, you sift, right? So,
yes.
So you need to sift a few of your practices, of your behaviors, of your values, and also your mindsets. Secondly, in your community. So let's talk about two communities. One is your children, your family. So it's about, okay, why are you cooking for them nutritious food during this quarantine? And you use the basis of your daily work to rethink why you're doing what you're doing. The word help is not the same as service. So when you're serving others, you think, okay, why am I cleaning this? Or why am I asking my kid to clean? What's the motivation behind? What's the intention? Now let's translate that into CADENA or any other organization. And the question I would like to pose to us is, how are we generating an enabling environment using CADENA in order to re-educate ourselves and re-educate the people that want to be of service through us? So we have different levels. We have the level of the volunteers who will go in the front line and deliver something or provide a service. And we have the people that say, listen, I don't want to go to the front line, but I want to work with you, be of service through you. And I want to share some resources with you so you can be of service with me. So those people are also at a threshold right now, and we have the responsibility, almost the obligation, to work with them, to help them shift their mindset and help them understand that showing a malnourished kid in my arms is a disrespect to human dignity. That is a disservice to humanity, that we are contributing to stereotyping, and that we are not in the business of eroding human dignity. We're in the business of promoting human dignity. So we are in a gifted position, in a privileged position as CADENA, and we have to do the service to the people that are suffering, and also at the same time with the same level of intensity to the people that want to be of service. So I put them at this level. I'm not putting them at this level. It's not the people that provide the resources and the people suffering. No, both of them are our clients. The people that provide the resources are also our clients, and we need to work with them. And the people that are suffering and that are teachers, masters, and that are allowing us the opportunity to work with them and be of service together with them are also our clients. So the short answer to your profound question is, change your mindset, look at them in this level, use this opportunity to re-engage them in a new way of being, and work with them, be of service so they can change mindsets, they can change behaviors, and they can shift their understanding of what all this humanitarian work is about. I don't know if I'm addressing your question, Angie.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. It was a long question, but it was something I had, you know, it would make sense that you would want to do what we're doing to be of service and not for selfish purposes.
Yeah. You know what, to me, it's about celebration. So as an organization or as a family, we have the opportunity to provide a container where celebration happens. And true service, in my experience, true service leads to celebration. I have been in so many crises, so many, individual and collective, terrible situations. I've been in the middle of Somalia after a bombing. I've been in Mozambique with minefields and drought and refugees. And in the midst of that horrible human catastrophe, there's always a moment of celebration. And that's what you're looking for. It is this recognition that in the middle of this chaos and apparently hopelessness, there's always a little light that gets switched on, and suddenly all this darkness disappears. And that is beautiful. And we can do that individually and collectively.
Juan, I have a question. So you're talking about detecting these small details that create this meaningful sensation during crisis. And somehow everyone probably at their homes and in this situation feels that this is kind of a crisis and they are living a difficult time. So do you have any type of suggestions, guidance of how to be aware and have this perspective, like this sense of making sure that we don't miss that beautiful thing that just happened during the chaos? Like if you have anything that we should be paying attention of, so we kind of grasp that and make sure we value that and we, be grateful for that during this situation.
Yeah, I'm going to share with you 3 things that have helped me and those around me and the people that I've been talking to, leaders of organizations and other humanitarian and volunteers that are asking me this question. I'm going to share with you 3 things that have helped me, and I hope maybe it could help others. The first one is take care of your body. Sleep well, eat well, drink well. Second, limit and be very careful with your sources of information. Right now, our cognitive system is overloaded. We're trying to decode what's going on. So you will have a tendency to absorb a lot of information. So you need to be very careful. Look at the information right now as food and be very careful on what information you eat and what information you don't eat, because there's a lot of information out there that will give you food poisoning. And the third thing that I will invite you to do: distinguish between what's truly important for you and what's not. So this is a time where you can say, listen, I don't need these shoes anymore. Okay? These shoes have been in my closet for 20 years and I haven't used them. Get rid of them. A little bit like Kondo, Marie Kondo, but with your life in general. What chats you don't participate in, what people you don't want to engage with anymore, like you were engaging before. And on the other hand, what people you do want to engage in. What plants in your house you want to change position. What do you want to clean and what do you want to move? So this is a time for reorganizing ourselves, reinventing ourselves. It is a time for discovering that we're much more resilient than we thought. And this is not about us as individuals. This is about a collective reset. So it's okay. It's okay. Just put your part, be with yourself, be with your loved ones, and participate as much as you can. And if you want to only be an observer and let things happen to you, that's also okay. But be aware that that's what you chose. Don't go there because the circumstances forced you. Because if you go there because the circumstances forced you, then you will you will feel like you are a victim of circumstances. That would be my little grain of sand, my penny to this contribution.
I had a thought this morning, and I posted it. I'm going to share on my Insta story. I woke up this morning thinking, what do I miss and what do I not miss?
Yeah, nice.
While being here in quarantine. And I thought to myself, everybody should think what they miss and what they don't miss, and remember that when we resume normal life.
Nice.
It was something that, you know, a lot of things we deal with and we tolerate and we accept because they're a distraction or for whatever reason. And it was almost about purging, like what you just said. I consider that purging. Here they call it spring cleaning. You know, get rid of the things that weigh you down and that don't serve you. And I think we all have time, ample time right now to figure out what those things are.
Did you just say things that do not serve you?
Yes.
I think that is the topic of this conversation. And that's why I wanted to link it to liberation from slavery, Pesach, and resurrection, Easter. So I really want to thank you for this opportunity, and I hope this has been of use to someone.
This has been amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. Go ahead. Vic?
No, thank you, Juan. Thank you for sharing your experience, for sharing your thoughts. I enjoyed a lot of this conversation, and I'm sure all our views and audience will also enjoy it a lot. And I'm really glad you're part of CADENA's family.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your wisdom and for sharing. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to today's Quaranteme with Juan Saenz. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.